Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline. It is time to look at the National Football League. Things getting very exciting in the NFL. We've started heading down the home stretch, and as usual, there's a lot of spots up for grabs. Trying to figure out who's playing well, who's peaking at the right time, who might be going backwards. We got two really good games to look at today. We're going to take a look at the Bucs and Broncos, the red-hot Tampa Bay Bucs heading out to face Peyton Manning, and the big Monday night matchup, NFC East, the Giants and the Redskins. We'll hear later from Jeff Saad and from Fairway J. And right now you've got Jim Feist on screen. You got Big Al McMordie, and you've got me. I'm Dave Cokin. We are glad to have you with us, guys. Before we get into anything, let's let everybody know what is happening with special offers. Al, coming off a huge Sunday and looking to keep it rolling.
Yeah, my clubs, Dave, on Sunday went 4-1 with a push, had a big play on the Colts. We were 1-0-1 on the weekend with our Fortune 500 club plays, pushing with the Bucs on Sunday, winning with Central Florida on Saturday. This week, I'm featuring a pair of NFL conference games of the month for Sunday action. Plus, on Saturday, a high roller NCAA winner. 3 games only for $19. That's $6.33 a winner, if my math is correct. And if you sign up early, you get a high roller Fortune 500 club play going tonight in basketball. That's a $500 value. 4 monster plays, only $19. If you sign up right now, you get full value. Call 866-841-1665. That's 866-841-1665. Dave?
Thanks, Al. I get my beard dyed every Tuesday. This goes back, to give you a little history on this, I think it's like I don't remember, but roughly the 1995 range. The beard had gone full white, and was told, at that time we were still doing Proline and USA Network, and I was told by some people, not Jim didn't care, but people behind the scenes, the production people, that white beard is absolutely awful looking, terrible. It just with the bright lights that they use, it just looked patchy. It looked like I had some kind of a skin disease or something. So they said, you got to get that thing, either shave it or color it. So somebody gave me a name, I don't remember who. This lady, Sue, who's supposed to be the best in town at this stuff. All right, well, what the hell? I'll give it a try. Oh, it was just an awful process, but it worked. Okay, and I've been seeing her on Tuesdays ever since, every week. Best $30 I spend on a weekly basis. See that? I'm gorgeous. But if this thing was white, you would think that I was a skinny Santa Claus, especially with what I'm giving away right now. This is awesome. I've got my stocking stuffer special. It's 31 days of December, the whole month, for $31, $1 a day. And I'm including my conference championship game of the year. Now, there's one matchup. I really don't like most of the conference championship matchups this weekend. I think they're aligned very well, and I don't see a big edge. But there's one that I absolutely love, about as much as I've liked the game the entire season. That's how strong it is. That game's going to be included with this, so you need to call right away. And you don't have to wait until the weekend to get that game. I'll give you the game as soon as you sign up, because I want you to get a better number on it. This number's going to go up. It's a favorite. The number's going to go up, and you want to get that best number now. So take advantage of this. 31 days, $31, huge football play. Conference championship game of the year included. 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Jim, college total of the year, blowout. I mean, you talk about winning a game easy. You just destroyed this number. And then the NBA's going wild. Real nice run for you right now.
Thank you, Dave. I'm not going to have as good a segue into this ad as you did with your beard, but I will say this is a good time. This is a great time to separate the pretenders from the contenders, both in college football and pro football. And last week, as Dave said, I nailed my total of the year in the colleges. Nebraska, Iowa went under the total by 30 points. A lot of that had to do with we knew what the weather was. The style of play also played into it, but the very strong 35, 40-mile-an-hour winds didn't hurt at all. We had the Giants as a blowout winner on Monday when they beat Green Bay that was Sunday night, 38-10. That was a huge blowout. I love that game. Also, we are, like Dave said, we're on a 21-11 NBA run. This week I have a 5-play countdown going on Saturday in college hoops. That's 5 plays for $15, including my college odds maker error game of the year and my first college hoops game of the year, the first of the season. Absolutely. We got a young season, big college hoops game of the year going. When you make the call, make sure you call 1-866-841-1655. That's 1-866-841-1655. Be sure to ask about how to get my AFC game of the year and my NFL total of the year, both going, and it's $20 with a guarantee. 1-866-841-1655. And Dave, personally, and I know I speak for Al, we're both glad that your beard is not white.
Yeah, so am I. I don't need any other handicaps when it comes to chasing women, okay? All right, here we go. Bucs and Broncos. Yeah, Al, I knew Tampa was going to be improved this year because the coaching situation was a disaster last year, and, they had basically the team just quit in the second half. So you figured they were going to be better this year. But I didn't see this coming. This team's playing really good football right now, and this is a big game. Because the Broncos have turned the corner. Peyton Manning is making a strong argument to be the MVP, certainly in the conversation. Excellent matchup on Sunday between two playoff contenders.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Last week Denver went into Kansas City and it was installed as a double-digit road favorite. And last week the Chiefs were my third favorite play, as double-digit home underdogs are one of the more reliable bets in the NFL. I think they've now covered 10 straight since 2011 and 16 of 17 since late 2009. Anyway, it wasn't really a surprise that Denver stumbled and bumbled on its way to a lackluster 8-point win against the hapless Chiefs. And I think that's going to keep some folks off the Broncos here, as they're laying a big number to a quality team. But I do like Denver in this situation. Home favorites off a win, but a point spread loss, as big road favorites tend to cover the spread. They do so 63% of the time. I think Denver kind of rebounds off that ho-hum effort, shall we say, and I think they blow out Tampa Bay here, Dave.
I'm going to give kind of an oddball play on this. Look, if you're betting with one guy or something like that, you probably won't be able to take advantage of this. But if you've got options, and you really should, it's 2012, almost 2013. There's just no reason to be doing things the old-fashioned way and being stuck with, Joe the bookie dealing you one line and giving you very few options. There are bets you can make on almost anything, including first quarter bets. And I think you've got one here. Look, the Bucs are going to treat this as a really big game. I expect them to come in focused, prepared. This is their most important challenge to date this season, because it's against even though it's out of conference, it's against one of the real good teams in the league. And this is a chance for the Bucs to show, hey, we're elite as well. That's one side of it. The flip side of it is, as good as Denver has been this year, they've been a lousy first quarter team. It's as though Peyton Manning needs to prep before going into surgery and carving up the opposing defense. So, it's like he's taking x-rays or something in the first quarter. The Broncos haven't been really good out of the gate. They get rolling in games. I mean, this is not a team you want to get in the way of in the second half of games. But in the first quarter, they're going to be favored here. They're going to be getting a couple of points. I think this is worth taking with Tampa. I think they'll win the first quarter of this game. Not so sure they're going to win the rest of the game. But I think there's an advantage to be had with the road dog early in this contest. So that's what I'll go with in this one, Jim. I like Tampa in the first quarter.
Interesting perspective from both of you. That's good stats that you had on that Kansas City Chief game, Al, last week. Excellent. Remember that for the future. I was not involved with the game, but I'd wish that I'd known that ahead of time. This Tampa Bay team, they're very well coached. This college guy comes in and he puts a lot of discipline together. A lot of college coaches don't do well in the pros. This particular guy is, and it's totally changed the way Josh Freeman is playing. He had a terrible year last year. He's 21 TDs, 7 interceptions, 16 sacks on the year. Doug Martin, I believe he went to Boise. He got 1,050 yards. They picked up Vincent Jackson out of San Diego. I don't know why. I mean, San Diego just gets rid of all their good players, I guess. And of course, they have Williams at wide receiver. So, I mean, the Bucs, the Bucs on the year, they're 8-3 over, 9-2 against the spread. That's tough to fade. Broncos also go over quite a bit. They're 7-4 over the total. The one thing I don't like about this when I talk about Tampa Bay as a possible side, not probably will take the 7. You got to grab. There's good numbers out there if you do some shopping. The problem is their defense against the pass is rather weak. They're very good against the run, and they run the ball extremely well also. But against the pass, and they're playing against one of the best passers in the history of football. So I don't know how they overcome that, but Denver could be a little lackadaisical too. They've had a very good run. They're 8-3 straight up on the season. They have really no competition in their division. And there's a lot of pressure on Tampa Bay to keep winning. They're 6-5. They can make the playoffs. So we're kind of separating the pretenders from the contenders. But some of these guys that are the real deal are not going to keep playing with 100% intensity. And the guys that are really on the bubble will push a lot harder. So it's kind of like I'm giving a vote here to Tampa Bay, but I also like the over quite a bit.
All right. We've got the Redskins and Giants that we're going to look at, but before we do that, a couple of things to take care of. First of all, I want to head out to our man on the street. Jeff Seid from LVSS joins us on a weekly basis with some good stuff. Jeff, what do you got for us this time?
Thanks, Dave. Freeplay coming up. First is the College Conference Championship weekend on Saturday. Get a high roller conference champion blowout along with my NFL parlay of the year on Sunday, plus a Monday night winner on the Giants Redskins. 4 plays over 3 days, just $5. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Your free play is the Patriots at Dolphins AFC East rivalry game. We saw how seriously the Patriots take division rivalry games last week when they pummeled the Jets on Thanksgiving Day, 49-19. Coach Bill Belichick easily has the best QB in the division in Tom Brady, and you can say the only NFL quarterback in the division. The only weakness the Pats have is the secondary, but they have added Aqib Talib, improving the depth and the talent. Plus, Miami ranks in the bottom 10 in rushing and passing offense. Rookie quarterback Ryan Tannehill has almost twice as many picks as TDs. Plus, Miami has a terrible pass defense, 27th in the NFL. The Patriots won here last year, 38-24, as Brady had 517 yards. The Dolphins are 22-52-1 against the spread in the last 75 home games. Played the Patriots. Once again, it's the College Conference Championship weekend on Saturday. Get a high roller conference champion blowout along with my NFL parlay of the year on Sunday, plus the Monday night winner on the Giants Redskins. 4 plays over 3 days, just $5. Call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Back to you, Dave.
That's Jeff Seid. Take advantage of the offer and make some money with Las Vegas Sports Services. Our Twitter question of the week, we want you to follow us on Twitter at Jim Feist Sports, or friend us on Facebook at Proline TV. And the question this week, we call it the Twitter question of the week, but it can also come on Facebook, obviously. This is from Ed Cassidy, who's out in L.A., your neck of the woods, Big L. What are some sleeper teams that could make a Super Bowl run? And he gives an example like the 7-7 Giants did a year ago. That's right. That's a good call. People forget they were 7-7 and just barely made the playoffs. So what are some sleeper teams that can make a Super Bowl run like the Giants did a year ago? Well, the Giants aren't a sleeper. So we can't really include them in there. I mean, they've had kind of an up and down season, but they may be getting going. You know, an interesting team to me, and I don't know that they can make a Super Bowl run, but they do interest me is Cincinnati. I don't even know if they can get in the playoffs, but they should get another. You know, they look like they've got a chance to grab that last playoff spot in the AFC. And with the experience of a year ago, this is a team that could maybe get something done in the playoffs. So that's one team that I take a little look at. But I think by and large, I'm not seeing that sleeper team this year. I think the Saints, had they beaten San Francisco, might have been that sleeper team. But that was a huge setback for them on Sunday. And now it looks like it's basically going to be impossible for them to make the playoffs now, especially with their schedule, which is just brutal down the stretch. So I know that's not coming up with much, but that's all I've got. Al, have you got anybody that is in the middle of the pack right now that you think might make a move?
Well, I kind of agree with you, Dave. I think it's tough. I think people look at what Green Bay did, what the Giants did, and they think, oh, this stuff is routine. Well, it really isn't. And if you're like a 5 seed or a 6 seed in your conference, you've got basically a 3% chance of winning the Super Bowl. So I wouldn't, want to bank on that. Instead, whose phone is that?
It's not mine.
Okay, I was just trying to figure out if I needed to shut something off. So if a team's seeded 5th or 6th in the conference, there's such a huge long shot to win 3 road games, most probably, and then a neutral, field game in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't think on anyone doing it, but if I had to, with a gun to my head, I'd probably look to the AFC because I think that's the weaker of the 2 conferences, and I would probably say the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they can get a healthy Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jim, you got any thoughts on the team?
Well, first of all, I haven't totally given up on the Saints. Before they lost to San Francisco, the previous 3 games they had been running the ball for 140 yards per game, which is vast improvement over what they had done prior to that. Now, you don't run the ball too well against San Francisco. Nobody does. That's an incredible defensive club against the run. The bottom 6 teams against the run, by the way, include the team. I guess whoever's calling me is not going to give up, so I'm going to give up on them. I just shut them off. It must be a bill collector or something.
No, you're supposed to say it's somebody calling for your AFC Game of the Year.
Ironic. One of the crazy things here, I'll make this a little go off target here and then I'll come back to target. One of the worst teams in the NFL against the run happens to include the Atlanta Falcons. And they have had their rough going lately. They haven't been that impressive. They've been winning. Hats off to their team. They're pulling out some tough wins, but there are quite a few games they could have lost, and they don't have a great record in the playoffs in the past. They've pretty much choked it up early in the playoffs every time they've gotten there. I still give the Saints a chance. I'm not knocking them. I like Tampa Bay, the team we just talked about. If they can get by Denver somehow and run off the table, you got the NFC East. Washington's looking good right now, but the Giants are the Giants. I still expect the Giants to win that division, and then it's going to be a toss-up. But you talk about Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Cincinnati. Well, Pittsburgh's in big trouble. They turned the ball over 8 times last week. Each running back turned it over once. The quarterback probably shouldn't even be getting a paycheck. If Roethlisberger comes back, I don't know how physically fit he is, but they're playing the Ravens again this week. If they lose that game, that'll be 2 losses to the Ravens. Cincinnati does look like it's a team that could sneak in there. I'm not always impressed with the way that Cincinnati is managed, but right now, they've played a couple soft teams, but right now, they're playing very, very well. But of all the teams I'm talking about to make it, I would have to say, if Tampa Bay can get by Denver this week, and that's a big if, they would be my favorite team to sneak into the playoffs. And I'm not talking about Super Bowl. I'm talking about a dark horse to get into the playoffs and be alive. I think still the Super Bowl is going to come down to San Francisco and probably New England.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be. I understand what's happened the last 2 years. As Al pointed out, you had 2 wild card teams make spectacular runs. I have a feeling that's not going to happen this year. I think you're going to see more of a chalk entry make a big run to the Super Bowl. Before we get to the Redskins and Giants, Fairway Jay has been just awesome lately. Well, he's got a free NFL pick for Sunday. Let's get it right now. Fairway?
Thanks, Dave. I've got a free play coming up for you in the NFL, but first, I have my NFC Total of the Year going Sunday, along with a big Thursday night NFL crusher in the Saints-Falcons game. Also, a college football Total of the Month going Saturday. You get all 3 plays for just $15, and if you sign up early, we'll include a week of basketball, no extra charge. Call 1-866-896-1627. Your free play today is on the Rams-49ers game. Recall the Rams took division-leading 49ers to overtime as a big double-digit underdog, and in fact, they outgained the 49ers in that game 458 to 341. Now they return home off the upset road win last week, and it sets up situationally for a solid play on the Rams on their home fast track indoors. Despite strong defensive performances and now the quarterback change to Kaepernick for the 49ers, this sets up to be a solid competitive division contest. Let's take the St. Louis Rams as your free play. And once again, call the office now, 1-866-896-1627 for our NFC Total of the Year going, and we'll include a week of basketball at no extra charge. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thanks a lot, Jay. Sure appreciate that. Let's get to the Redskins and Giants. And we just talked about the Giants. We've seen this before out of them, and I think everybody's now expecting it to happen again. Well, it's November, and it's time for the Giants to get going, and they were very impressive on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. But it should be pointed out, the Green Bay Packers were extraordinarily unimpressive in that football game. The Giants got some help. They were very good, but the other team never showed up. The Packers looked like as bad a team as you could ever want to see on Sunday. I know they're not. It was just one of those games, and they kind of packed it in at halftime because I think they realized what we realized, which is we're not going to win this football game. And just a very poor effort. But that's influenced a bunch of stuff here because everybody now says, well, the Giants must be back. That's it. Yes, Redskins team's kind of hot right now themselves. I think they got a little motivational boost that nobody talked about from their own coach because it appeared as though he was kind of indicating that, well, we're getting a little better, but we need to do more evaluation down the stretch. We're going to give a look to a lot of guys to see if they fit the future, 2013 and beyond. And maybe some of the players had got a different message, which is, you know what? They're telling us our jobs are on the line, that they're evaluating because they're going to cut some of us. We're not going to be back next year. The team has responded with two very good performances, spearheaded by RG3, who has been sensational the last 2 weeks. It's very possible the Giants may be about to embark on another great run. They have to see more than one great game out of them, though. And, Eli Manning still missed a lot of passes on Sunday night. He had some big plays, but he also had some misconnections. He has not been accurate the last few weeks. I think you're going to get a bigger effort out of the Redskins, a rested Redskins team that hasn't played since Thanksgiving when they went in and did a number on the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Redskins are going to be competitive in this game, and I think this is going to be an NFC East matchup where they just smash heads all day. Might see a lot of points, although there's no way I get involved in a total in that stadium or in any of those East Coast games until I get a weather update late in the week. It's that time of year. You get December in any of these East Coast locales, and you can run into wind, crazy weather, and you don't want to be on the over in those games. So I'm gonna side with the Redskins as small home dogs here for now. I'm not locking myself into this, but I think that's the way I lean, Al.
Well, I will lock myself into it, Dave. Last week they were pretty impressive. They went into Dallas and they won 38-31 as a 3.5-point underdog. And off that win, I don't like going against home underdogs, even if they're playing a great Giants team, that come off a straight up and against the spread road win. Home dogs that do that, they're 101 and 65 against the spread versus opponents off double-digit wins. And I've got lots of different subsets that kind of mess with that general theory, but basically home dogs off a straight up and against the spread road win do well. And I'm just not going to buck Washington. I think they're going to take the momentum from that win, and I think they're going to, get the outright victory against the Giants. Jim?
Well, Al, you make great points, and it's tough to go against the home dogs playing well. The Giants are scary. We know who they are. 2 Super Bowls, Eli Manning, all that stuff. Tom Coughlin, great coach. They're tough. I mean, they really made Green Bay quit at halftime last week. They did. But Green Bay, we didn't talk about that division earlier when we talked about sleeper teams. I still think the Chicago Bears are going to win that division. And the reason I do is I think they've figured out how to work around that terrible offensive line they started the year off with. And Cutler is very capable. And the guy that's been sacked the most in the league so far, I believe, is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And nobody can withstand that kind of punishment. They've had injuries all year long. So I'm looking for the Chicago Bears to actually win that division. So saying that kind of segues back here to the Giants. They kind of had it easy in the second half. They didn't have to play a team that was really coming to play in the second half because their defense was dominating so much that that's not going to be the case here. I don't believe. RG3 is going to put up a pretty good show. I don't believe Washington is the team that the Giants are. The Giants, I feel, are the better football team. But this is a great spot when you got a division home dog, as Al said, coming off the subsets he was talking about. 5-6 straight up on the season against the Giants, 7-4. I give a small lean, not a strong lean, to the Redskins.
All right. Good stuff. I think we had two good discussions of these games today. Hopefully we got you some insight. And you want to get more than insight. We're talking getting winners. Take advantage of the offers we've got this weekend. Let's recap them. By the way, I should bring this in here. Danita, look what Danita made me. She made me, since it's my stocking stuffer, she made me this. See? It's a stocking stuffer hat, which unfortunately is too big to get on TV. But anyway, see, there it is. Very cool. It's got paper towel on it and everything. It's amazing. She did this in like a matter of minutes. I have no artistic talent at all. I'm impressed with this. It really is a good offer. It's the entire month of December. You get all my action plays, 31 days for $1 a day. So it's nothing almost. And there's one really big game to start you off on this because I've got a conference championship game of the year. And I mentioned this earlier. I really like this game. I think it's going to be, I like the line like is maybe 3 points off where it should be. And it's going to head toward that on the weekend. So you want to get this game in early if you can. 31 days for $31 and that huge football game is included. So make the call now. 1-866-896-1629. 1-866-896-1629. Big Al, well, this is the time of year where you always crush them. I mean, this is just business as usual for you. Coming off a monster Sunday, two big Fortune 500 plays that did well, and now you've got two top-of-the-line games in the NFL going this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend I'm featuring not one but two NFL conference games of the month on Sunday, plus Saturday, a high roller college football winner. 3 games, only $19. And as an added bonus for folks who like to play basketball, if you sign up early, if you sign up right now today, you get a high roller Fortune 500 Club play going tonight. That's a $500 value in and of itself. So 4 monster plays in all, $19, 1 in hoops, 3 in football, including 2 NFL conference games of the month on Sunday. 866-841-1665. That's 866-841-1665.
Jim, zeroed in right now. I mean, that's just the best way to describe it. 2 huge plays that won extremely easily last weekend. Big NBA roll going right now, and 2 more major games this weekend in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. AFC conference, the game of the year, and the NFL total of the year go on Sunday. That's $20 plus a guarantee. The number is 1-866-841-1655. And we're not forgetting about basketball. I have a 5-play countdown going on Saturday in college hoops. 5 plays for $15, including my college odds maker game of the year. So make sure you make the call. 1-866-841-1655. We're locked and loaded for football, college and pro, and we're locked and loaded in the college hoops and the pro hoops. We're 21-11 in the NBA right now, so keep going. Make the call. 1-866-841-1655.
Well, this isn't the only edition of Proline that's out there because we've got our college football edition as well on Conference Championship Weekend. So you want to make sure and check that out. Meanwhile, for Jeff Saad and Fairway J, our men on the street this week, and for Jim Feist, and for Big Al, and for Chip, he's not here this week, but always want to acknowledge Chip Trimbus. I'm Dave Cokin. Thanks a lot for watching. Take advantage of these offers. Serious, that's serious stuff, okay? We have fun on the TV show with the cameras on, goofing around, but it's serious stuff when it comes to picking winners. So make sure you call for these offers, and we'll talk to you guys again next week. See you later.